Psychiatry for a Mad World.
An extract from the book. Francis Ford Coppola, film director, The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, bipolar affective disorder. Patricia Cornwell, mystery thriller writer, bipolar affective disorder, anorexia, bulimia. Hart Crane, American poet, clinical depression. Sheryl Crow, singer, musician, clinical depression. Jack D, comedian, depression. Quote, "Depression is something that has always featured in my life, but now I am dealing with it. I wish I'd done this years and years ago because it's been really helpful." End quote. Sandra D, actress, anorexia, depression, alcoholism. Charles Dickens, writer, depression. Benjamin Disraeli, former British Prime Minister, depression. Gaetano Donizetti, opera singer, bipolar affective disorder. Richard Dreyfuss, actor, bipolar affective disorder. Quote, "I said to my doctor, 'You got to test me. There's something wrong with me that I would be behaving this way.'" End quote. George Eliot, novelist, depression. Carrie Fisher, actress, screenwriter, novelist, bipolar affective disorder. Drug abuse and prescription drug addiction. Quote, "Mania starts off fun, not sleeping for days, keeping company with your brain, which has become a wonderful computer, showing 24 TV channels all about you. That goes horribly wrong after a while." End quote. F. Scott Fitzgerald, writer, depression. Jane Fonda, actress, bulimia. John Forbes Nash Jr., American mathematician, subject of the film A Beautiful Mind, paranoid schizophrenia and depression. Harrison Ford, actor, depression. Connie Francis, singer, depression. Sigmund Freud, psychoanalyst, depression, probable psychosis. Stephen Fry, actor and director, bipolar affective disorder, suicidal thoughts. Quote, "I may have looked happy, inside I was hopelessly depressed." End quote. Peter Gabriel, musician, singer with the band Genesis, depression. Judy Garland, actress, depression, substance abuse. Paul Gascoigne, footballer, bulimia, obsessive-compulsive disorder, bipolar affective disorder, alcoholism, sectioned in February 2008. Quote, "Everywhere I looked, life seemed to be full of problems, and they were just going to go on and on. I was never going to get any better." End quote. Trisha Goddard, TV presenter, depression. Quote, "I was in danger of having my children taken away from me when I needed 5 weeks in psychiatric care. There is the smiling depressive, which is the biggest time bomb, and when they usually go with a bang, which was me." End quote. Russell Grant, TV presenter, astrologer, depression. Quote, "It is a maze of total confusion. It can get to the point where you don't care if you live or die." End quote. Peter Green, guitarist with Fleetwood Mac, schizophrenia. Linda Hamilton, Hollywood actress, bipolar affective disorder. Quote, "The lows were absolutely horrible. It was like falling into a manhole and not being able to lift the lid and climb out." End quote. David Helgott, Australian concert pianist, subject of the film Shine, schizoaffective disorder. Ernest Hemingway, Pulitzer Prize-winning novelist, depression. Lenny Henry, comedian, depression. Quote, "That's where depression hits you most, your home life. It doesn't affect your work. I can't do this zany, wacky, funny thing anymore. I haven't been like that for a long time." End quote. Audrey Hepburn, actress, depression, anorexia. Anthony Hopkins, actor, depression. Dame Kelly Holmes, athlete, depression. Quote, "I became depressed and I cut myself with scissors and stuff." End quote. Howard Hughes, American aviator, film producer and manufacturer, obsessive-compulsive disorder. Janet Jackson, singer, anxiety disorder and depression. Billy Joel, singer-songwriter, suicide attempt, depression. Ulrika Johnson, TV presenter, depression. Carl Jung, psychoanalyst, depression. John Keats, poet, depression. Charles Kennedy, British MP, alcoholism. Patsy Kensit, actress, depression. Jack Kerouac, American author, poet and painter, alcoholism, substance abuse, depression. Margot Kidder, actress, manic psychosis. Stephen King, author, alcoholism and drug abuse. Sarah Lancashire, actress, depression. Quote, My 20s were a write-off. It's a cruel illness because you can't see it and you can hide it so well." End quote. Hugh Laurie, actor, depression. Quote, "I clung to unhappiness because it was a known familiar state." End quote. Vivian Leigh, actress, bipolar affective disorder. John Lennon, member of the Beatles, depression. Neil Lennon, footballer, depression. Quote, "It's a bit like walking down a long dark corridor and never knowing when the light will go on." End quote. Abraham Lincoln, former American president, several breakdowns, suicidal thoughts and clinical depression before going on to become president in 1861. Courtney Love, musician, depression. Meg Matthews, former wife of Oasis musician Noel Gallagher, depression and alcohol abuse. Brian May, guitarist with rock band Queen, depression, suicidal thoughts. When asked in interview on BBC Radio 4's Desert Island Discs how he had felt, he answered he had been, quote, "to the bottom," end quote. He made a full recovery. Quote, "I think sometimes depression is a trigger to us to get out of the old habits we learned as we grew up, to decide for ourselves how we will react to what is around us," end quote. Burgess Meredith, American actor, a form of bipolar affective disorder. Melinda Messenger, model and TV presenter, depression. Quote, "I felt suicidal. I couldn't stop crying. I remember thinking, wouldn't it be great if the car crashed and I died?" End quote. George Michael, singer, depression. Quote, 12 years of depression and fear and lots of other bad stuff. It was as if I had a curse on me. I couldn't believe how much God was piling on at once." End quote. Florence Nightingale, nurse in the Crimean War, depression. Michelangelo, Italian artist, possible bipolar affective disorder. Spike Milligan, comedian, writer, musician, poet, playwright, bipolar affective disorder. Danny Minogue, singer, depression. Quote, "My sister was sick, then my best friend died soon after. I felt I'd been hit by a wave. I couldn't deal with the stress." End quote. And 4 years after the depression, quote, "Life is just so different now." End quote. Kylie Minogue, singer, depression. Quote, "You get such a kick and then suddenly it's all over. That's good ground for uncertainty and depression. I usually burst into tears." End quote. Marilyn Monroe, model, actress, depression.